Am I live? I think I'm live. Let me check some statistics here. Yeah, that looks live. I'm here a little early, even. Not. Just wanted to hang out for a little while today. Oh wait, I don't really want that there. Unless I do a little bit of this. Just a second, guys. While I do all the stuff I should have done before. Oh, boners. That's not how that works. Oh, there it is. Pop out chat. Okay. Oh, hello, everybody. Hello. In hence, I think you were here way early. If you're still here, hello, welcome. Glad you're here. And in hence, that is totally your choice to continue to smoke counterfeit carts. I wish you didn't have to do it for financial reasons. I wish you didn't have to do it just because they're cheaper. That sucks. But, just I would say, and hence just keep an eye out for the new, studies or whatever that continues to come out from this, and just monitor it. Jason with a $sign. That's a cool name. Welcome, sir. How you doing, Jason? Brittany, welcome back. Brittany Collins, glad you're here. And then Grovel asks if anyone's playing Borderlands 3. I haven't started it. Is it out today or is it out tomorrow? Maybe it's out today. I don't know. I'm sure I'll play it at some point. I'm really not in a hurry for some reason for Borderlands 3. I think just Gearbox in general kind of weirds me out, and I'll play it when it's cheap, I think. And then Juan comes in with, yes, that's disgusting vaping thing, because this sucks. This shit sucks. Discuss, not disgusting. I love vaping. Gotcha. Not discuss. You weren't saying that's disgusting thing. Yes. So Juan, I'll get to that in just a second. We'll talk about it some more. We'll wait just a little bit longer for some extra folks to show up, see if they want to contribute, and then we'll talk more about cartridges and vaping and all that stuff. So Grovel, it is out actually tomorrow. Okay, cool. Did not. That's what I thought. And again, I'm sure I'll get it at some point. Probably even soon. It's a 2K game. They usually end up pretty cheap on PC pretty quickly, and which is where I'll probably play it. Maybe Xbox One, but probably on PC. And yeah, from everything I've heard, it is just more Borderlands. And then Ben S asks, can you review a Delta 8 THC? And then says, not a typo, which is a good catch, Ben, because I was about to accuse you of making one. I've never even heard of a Delta 8 edible. Delta 9 is like a molecule or a compound. I'm not sure what Delta 8 is, but if they're anywhere as good as Delta 9, I'm very interested. Alexander says, I think I can play it at 11, Grovel. Yeah, well, I would guess you could probably play it maybe even at 9 o'clock PST, because I would assume it unlocks the same time as it does Eastern Time, and presumably it unlocks on midnight. I don't know. Sober says, what's up, bro? I went back to flour. No more hot dog water for me. I'm glad you came to that decision, Sober. And I hope maybe one day vaping is another possibility for you, but it is not a terrible decision to be cautious at this moment. Welcome, Hector. Thanks for joining in, man. How you doing? Ben, welcome back, Ben. Glad to see you hanging out. He says, I think it's the knockoff carts that are the problem. I wish they would just come out and say so. Ben, I would have suspected that would be the case. However, they're at least preliminary, and all of this stuff is subject to change. Anytime there's a sort of sensational aspect to a story, a lot of reporting is done very quickly and not very thoroughly. So I don't know if this will actually end up being true, but maybe the third victim, they said that all of the cartridges or the suspected cartridges that person had used were all purchased from a legal dispensary and had all been lab tested. So, again, I don't know if that'll actually end up shaking out, but that is something that has been reported already. So, it's all very weird and it's all very early. Oh man, I'm getting into it already. Grovel says, oh, pro tip for playing Borderlands 3 early. Just set your region differently to Crocodile Dundee's favorite. That's pretty much the only person from Australia that I know. And Hugh Jackman. Crocodile Dundee and Hugh Jackman. I'm doing quite well. I had my very final firecracker spaced out over about an hour before this. I had the last little bit of it about 10 minutes ago, and it's okay. Dave G says, have you tried them featured farms from Rove? I never got around to it. No, I liked Rove quite a bit, but I never tried their featured farms line. And for right now, I don't think I will until we hear some more. Dallas Prince says, welcome Dallas, by the way. Cheers. I'm making weed brownies right now with the weed mixed in. 0.5 milligram for 16 pieces. Hope those are nice and potent for you. I hope they are tasty as well. Good luck to you, Dallas. People who make their edibles are my hero. I've never actually made edibles. I've made tincture and concentrate and capsules using an Ardent Nova decarber, but I've never actually made edibles, largely because boiling water is too complex for me. Hector says, I heard Rove uses botanical terpenes, which are not safe for inhalation, so even authentic brands are sketch. Cartman's Chili says, am I too late for the MAGA event? Here, you're always too late for the MAGA event. There's never a time where you can arrive early or on time for a MAGA event here. Sorry, Cartman's Chili. Hector, back to your comment. Who knows? That's all that can be said at this point for any rumor about any of these things. They're all hearsay at this point. I mean, there have been so few. These products are so new, and they've spread so quickly. And there's still so much resistance on the federal level to regulating this stuff that there have been so few studies done about any of this stuff. And nobody has any idea what any of it really, if somebody alleges like, oh, these botanical terpenes or whatever, these artificial, or chemically reproduced terpenes, are supposed to be awful for you. That's not, it could very well be true. I don't want to say that it wouldn't. There's just no way anybody actually knows right now. That kind of stuff needs like rigorous testing. Now, is it bad to be cautious? Is it bad to be like, well, shit, maybe. No, and I don't want to ever advise anybody against being cautious. I'm just saying, like, do not trust anybody who says they know anything at this point in a definitive way, because nobody does. And if they do, they're snake oil salesmen or they're charlatans. Anybody who says they know what's going on and they're positive about their assertions, they are total 100% charlatans. I guarantee it. It's just not, there's just not enough data and evidence to make any kind of conclusion. Whew, that was a lot of ranting. Kelly Jelly, welcome Kelly Jelly. Glad you could join us. Jordan M says, have I tried any more plug play flavors? I've tried a couple, orange or tangy cream and one other. I liked them both. I liked them both quite a bit. Grovel says, Dallas Prince says, cool, 50 milligrams a piece. Oh, that's a lot better, with coconut oil. 50 milligrams. That's a good number for a lot of folks. If you're a seasoned cannabis user, 50 milligrams is what? That's actually, I mean, I know some people that who smoke every day that's a lot for still, but I hope they're good. I know a lot of people can make excellent homemade edibles, just not me. Vegas Wedman, welcome, by the way, Vegas. Glad you could join us. I know you were joining us at the very end of the last one, so I'm glad you're here at the beginning. Says, I don't back down. Cool. I don't know if I've ever stood up to ever not back down. And I'm not making any kind of like a stand, or I'm not trying to make any message by the video I had at earlier, other than I'm not doing it right now because in the small chance that there is for some reason, this new illness has just taken a foothold, I do not want to, the last thing I want to do is, encourage somebody to try one of those things that may do that. That being said, as I covered there, that is not what I do not think at the end of the day there is going to be a reason for a widespread panic. I don't. But I don't know that for sure. I am just looking at historical data and crossing that with the sort of strangeness of the timing here, and my conclusion is there's a decent likelihood that there may be something to this, but there's no reason to panic. But do not trust me, as you should trust nobody else. Look at the stuff for yourself and make your own conclusion, and then be good Bayesians. Every time a new piece of evidence comes in, every time there's some other piece of data point, you update your priors and say, oh, it's even more likely or it's even less likely for this panic to be, to have any merit, I guess. Shit. Okay, I've been talking a lot. Kelly Jelly says, hatin' the vape news. I think we're all a little bummed out, Kelly, about the vape news, but we're all going to be, we're just going to be cautious, a little skeptical, and open-minded. That's the way I would approach it. It's a lot of words. Vegas says, it's the black market carts that is the roots of the problems. May very well be true. Sport 1022 says, vapes are the best. I love vapes too, my man. I really do love them. I think they're great. But I don't think it's necessarily a terrible idea or even unreasonable to have a little bit of caution at this point. Okay. Liam says, bruh, I'm still smoking Steezy all day. I'm glad you're enjoying it, man. I'm a big fan of Steezy myself. More power to you. No judgment from me. And, good for you. Okay, Vegas says, I make my own carts from distillate, and that is almost certainly going to be a totally safe thing. But again, until there's a lot more studying done, nobody can tell you anything for sure. And if anybody does, don't trust that person. Okay. Sesame Sun. Welcome, Sesame Sun. Also a cool name. Says, hi, Wheats. nice to see you. Right back at you, Sesame Sun. I like saying Sesame Sun. It's very alliterative and fun to say. So welcome. Juan back says, vapes are the best. Who wants to vape non-flowered e-juice or even the carts? Juan, I don't disagree with you, my man, that vapes are great. They're a really I have one right here that I am, debating what to do with. I don't know. I think they're a fantastic way of taking in THC. It's just, you know, the only reason I am stopping is in the small possibility that there is some merit to it. I just don't want to encourage people right now. And I promise you, I will update them priors when I hear new stuff. I will come back and I will reassess. This isn't a static, like, I'm done kind of thing. It's just let's just wait and see. Okay. Dave, welcome back, Dave, says, at the end of the day, you'll be safe if you stop smoking completely or grow your own. Flower has pesticides and PGRs. All that is true, Dave. However, all of that can be it can be extended to basically anything you consume inside of the U.S. Unless you spend a lot of money to get truly organic foods. I mean, everything is covered in a patina of pesticides and growth hormones and is genetically modified somewhere along the way. That's just the nature of modern food. There's often nothing to worry about those things. Sometimes there are, and sometimes there are, bad consequences. But I don't think weed is any more dangerous for you than an ear of corn necessarily. Shamika Westbrook, hello Shamika, welcome. I don't know if I've ever said hello. Liam, favorite Steezy pod? The Steezy strains I never find to be that, the differentiation to be that great in terms of taste. I always find Steezy to be super subtle. So I don't really have a particular strain. I go for the 1 grams over the half grams because they're a better value, but I couldn't tell you which one I like more than the other. I usually just go for whatever has the highest THC content. Sober says, have you had any problems or side effects or kind of side effects with vapes by any chance? I do know, I cannot point to vapes, but I do know in the past 3 years, I have become way more of a cougher, and feel it way more than I ever have before when coughing, like, almost like fluid. And that is totally likely just being, me reading into things, me just, whatever the case. And even if it wasn't, I cannot say definitively it's caused by vaporizing, but I cannot say that I haven't noticed some kind of change in my lungs in the past couple of years. Like I have been coughing way more, and the cough feels different than it used to. Vegas says, always a pleasure, Wheats. Right back at you, man. Oh, I'm blowing up here. Oh, I'm getting puppy messages, which are the best kind of messages to get. Boy, I think I'm way behind on chat, guys, and I'm sorry. I'll speed round it here. Paul, welcome, Paul, says, low-key scared to make my steezy now. There's probably no reason to worry, Paul. You're almost certainly safe, but being cautious is never unwise. Why is there no widespread panic for cigarettes? Thousands die every year. Well, there was a mega widespread panic of cigarettes for about a decade, and then our federal government did an uncharacteristically ass-kicking job of sticking it to the giant tobacco companies in ways that really worked, really reduced the number of smokers drastically, especially young new smokers in the United States. It's just that people haven't been concerned or haven't been pointing their fingers at tobacco as much for all kinds of reasons. One, because there are basically even every year, there are fewer and fewer teenagers or young people starting to smoke than the year before. So people don't really think of it as a problem because it's, waning. It's waning. Even though more people die of that than, even more, though more people will still die from that than anything having to do with vaporizing. It's just their weird cognitive biases in people's heads. And the fact that people think, oh, we dealt with cigarettes, it's done because we did this thing in the 90s, even though, there's still thousands of people that die from lung cancer and emphysema every year because people think it's just a weird cognitive distortion we all have because we don't talk about it, so people don't think about it, so people don't pursue it as much as they should. It's like every health crisis or every scare in the world, if we want to go get super relativistic here, or not relativistic, relative, it's just like, well, look at auto accident, or, traffic fatalities. The most dangerous thing you do is fucking get in your car every day. So why aren't we spending every, resource we have to get self-driving cars to save, 30,000 people a year or whatever from grisly traffic fatalities? It's just, we're weird. People are weird. We don't think about things in, logical ways. I'm very high. I'm getting, a little bit more abstract with this argument than I wished. I was supposed to be doing speed rounds. I think I kind of made maybe somewhat of a point there, Vegas. Maybe. I hope so. My point is, we're weird. That's the reason we don't look at cigarette companies as much. Gravel says now would be a bad time to be invested in Juul. I agree. For not just this, but people were cracking down on e-cigarettes because of rampant teenage usage already, and now you have in some dead people. Oh boy, that is a recipe for sell. Okay, Juan says, exactly. Why don't you just ban cigarettes? How many people died of the year of cigarettes? I think I just went over that. Liam says, Paul Steezy is clean. They're lab tested. Vegas says, Juul is the reason for this bullshit. Juul is what got vaping on everybody's mind because from what I understand, man, it is bad with high schoolers and Juuls. I don't know if that's actually true, and that is worrisome. Vaping hasn't been around long enough for us to know the long-term health effects of it yet. That's just true, and everybody should know that ahead of time. That should be you should have that, what is the term called? That should be like, you should have that knowledge buy-in, right? Before you vape anything, you should understand that nobody 100% knows what the consequences are going to be, or the ramifications are, because it just hasn't been a long enough period of time. Whatever biological consequences could happen from vaping could happen years in your future, and we just don't know yet. And not to make a panic or not to scare anybody, it's probably nothing, but we just don't know, and everybody should understand that as well. Okay. Hey, I got a dog. Sniffing my other dog. 8 years vaping, no problems. Vegas, I think almost everybody who's been vaping for as long as vaping's been around is going to be totally fine. Juan says, if anything banned, rule. Yeah, more about cigarettes, which I think I'm kind of, I think I made maybe my point, maybe, I don't know. If not, let me know how stupid I am. Paul says, been vaping Steezies for a year straight. I've never had any side effects, but I think it's time to stop. Almost nobody has had any side effects. They're only, the last number I heard is 33 confirmed cases. I'm certain it's gone up by then, but that is an incredibly small number out of the tens of millions of people in the United States that use vapor-based products, whether tobacco or nicotine or THC. 33 is a crazy small number. And people also need to have that understanding before they, decide to throw away all their vaping accoutrement. Just, we do such a bad job of teaching people probability statistics. Like, you just think about it for a second. Just really go, okay, what are these numbers? How did these numbers arise so quickly? Is there going to be some tertiary factor? I don't know. It's just, we just have a bad understanding of probability and risk. The risk on this is, as far as we understand it right now, minuscule. But that doesn't mean again, no one knows. Okay. Oh, one of my dogs shat. Woo! Squiddy, was that you, boy? Damn, buddy. Whew. I'm not kidding. One of them, man. Damn it, dog. It was probably the Great Dane, though. She's a farter, and they smell like death. Okay. Jeff says the problem with black market carts, as well as everyone is filling half-gram tanks and passing them off as full grams. I am sure that's a problem as well. Nobody's weighing their stuff. Okay. Liam says, or Paul says, still talking about Steezies. Steve! Welcome, Steve. I'm sorry I haven't gotten around to saying hi until just now. Juan says, would you rather have your kids smoke cigarettes or vape? If you were asking me right now, I don't have children, but if I did, and, assuming that child wasn't Damien and the Antichrist, and I wanted it to thrive, using the available data that we have right now, which is so small that it's practically irrelevant, understand that, of course you would prefer them to vape THC to smoking cigarettes. That is not my argument, and I hope I'm not getting that conflated. I am not suggesting in any way, shape, or form vaporizing is more dangerous than smoking, more dangerous than... It's fucking less dangerous than skydiving, as far as we know right now. All I'm trying to say is that we don't know enough to know what we don't know, and I'm just going to be cautious for the next little bit, so that I don't do anything, just in case. I just don't want to, I don't know. I just don't want to steer anyone in the wrong direction until then. It's overly cautious. I'll be the first to admit it. It's super overly cautious. Hi, buddy. Come here. Come on. Say hi. Yeah, I know it's super, super obnoxious. And, yeah, why did you boop that, huh? You want to say hi? So, where was I? Crazy. I'm high. Rigatoni, welcome Rigatoni79. Rigatoni, oh, I get it now. Says, does weed ever give you anxiety? Mildly and occasionally, but not frequently, and never like, crippling anxiety. The anxiety I get the most often from weed is the existential anxiety, like oh, I'm gonna die, or, oh, there is no such thing as conscious decision making, or, oh shit, whatever. Those are my kind of anxious thoughts when I have them when I'm on weed. It's not too frequent, thankfully, but it's not never. Philip, welcome, Philip. Glad you're here. So, Sesame Sun says, if you look back through history, you see the snuff, dip, chewing tobacco, home ruled, then the government came in, kind of like now. All those products still exist. They just don't have the market share they once did, or the mind share either. They're just not in the forefront of people's minds because not many people, an increasingly shrinking number of people are using those. But there is a rapidly growing pool of people who are using vaporizing products, nicotine or weed. It is definitely growing. I'm guessing it's gonna slow down a little bit now, at least for a little bit. But yeah, it's I made some kind of point, I think. Cool. All right. Welcome, Dale from Canada. Glad you could join us here, my Canadian friend. Where at in Canada? I have a vague sense of Canadian geography. You got the Yukon, and then you got the provinces. And one of them, Quebec, speaks French. And your money has the Queen of England on it, which I still don't understand, my good buddy Dale from Canada. I don't understand the relationship between Canada and England and what that actually is. But I love you guys. If you guys want to send a green, whatever your equivalent of like a work visa or residency card, my way. Shit, if you want to send citizenship my way, I won't stop you. But hello from Canada. Love you guys. Okay. Where are we at? Philip Baca says, wish I had some weed. Uh-oh. Philip is dankrupt. Philip, I forget, are you in an illegal state? Are you in one of our unfortunate, backwards, dumb, can't think of synonym, dumb states that still doesn't allow any kind of herbage? If so, that sucks. If not, I'm sure there's a delivery service. Vegas says, my God, I am so far behind. Yes, Jewel pointed out how, Vegas pointed out how Jewel got busted marketing to kids. Of course they got busted for that, and of course they were marketing to kids. They're not stupid. They're bad, but they're not stupid. And what does it... How do you not market to kids anyways, right? Like, kids watch fucking everything now, and how do you prevent? How it's sort of a dumb category thing, anyways. Okay. Paul says vaping nicotine kills my throat, and he can only vape the THC. I've never vaped any nicotine before. The only nicotine I've ever done is a decade ago when my wife and I first started dating. We shared a single pack of cloves spread out over like a month. How romantic. And that was the only nicotine I've ever had. I did not get any kind of altered feeling from it at all. It tasted kind of nice, the thing, but I didn't. I certainly didn't come away from that experience addicted, and I didn't quite understand what the appeal was. Yeah, it was. I wouldn't even describe it as pleasant. But that's my only experience with nicotine. That was a long story. Gus Gang, welcome Gus Gang, said, I've had some lung problems with the Juul, never had with the carts that were lab tested. This seems very fishy to me. It's all a little weird, Gus Gang. It's all a little weird. I can't disagree that it is a strange time. Dale says, we are adding value edibles. Oh, cool. I'm glad that you guys are getting the edibles, man. I think that's what you meant. I'm a little incredibly high right now. Josh, says, do you think fake wax carts are ever going away? In this current, if you took right now as like the climate as a static thing, fuck no. I mean, it's gonna really require federal cooperation. There's just too much incentive because these carts are illegal in some states. They're like in New York City, for example. Tons of these cartridges that we know and love in Southern California are just as almost freely available in New York City as they are here, if you know where to look. But the majority of those are fake, including the ones that, you would hope were real, not even the sort of fake brands like Dink Vapes or cereal carts or whatever. Because those brands get no brand protections, like to get copyrights and trademarks and all that shit. That's a federal thing, and these brands really can't do that. I mean, they have some mild state protections, kind of, not really. So with that being true, people are always just gonna find the popular brands, like copy their packaging, which isn't that hard. Just like scan the images, and with some ingenuity, you can duplicate their packaging pretty well. And all those like cartridges you can buy, I mean, they're so cheap on any number of services, and then you can fill it with whatever the fuck you want. Unless there is some kind of like criminal penalty put on it by the state of California, like if you get caught selling these, illegal cartridges, we're gonna put some kind of criminal fine on you, because they're only sold at black markets anyways, which, get civic penalties. So, there's no additional, the having the black or the shitty fake carts there is no additional bad right now over just having the fake an illegal dispensary. It's no additional thing. So unless California comes down with some serious legislation saying like, and I don't know how you would enforce it, but it's a step, that criminal penalties will come down for it, or there is some kind of federal protections, because again, otherwise you're just going to have people copying the fake stuff and then selling it to drug dealers in illegal states. And everybody's going to want the most amount of money in that process as possible because it's an illegal business. Like, this isn't, there is a lot of risk in buying drugs still from anybody in a state where weed's illegal. It's still inherent risk. And, and anytime there's that kind of illegality, there are going to be shady actors somewhere in that supply chain, and it's just going to be impossible to deal with. And I'm sorry. I wish there were an easier answer. Okay. Sesame Sun says, I hope they legalize it everywhere. Get this fake crap off the streets. Here. Thank you. Great point. Vegas says the black market is only still around because of the markup from dispensaries. In California, yes, the black market only exists because of the taxes, basically, that dispensaries have to pay. Some of those taxes, one, I'm sorry for what I'm about to say. I know it's heresy. I know it's lunacy. Some amount of tax for weed is good, unless you need it medicinally. If you need it medicinally, of course it shouldn't be taxed. But if you're doing it recreationally, like I am, I had a medicinal license, and there were some, I get some benefit out of it, but if I'm being honest, I use it recreationally. I don't think it's unreasonable to tax me some percentage for doing so. Like, it is an indulgence, and everything should be taxed. However, it is insanely highly taxed, and it makes it, the taxes are so high that the incentive to open up a place where you don't have tax is so great that people are gonna do it. So they got to find that equilibrium. And also, things are going to be more expensive at illegal dispensaries for another reason, and that is because things are tested at legal dispensaries. If it's a certified shop, everything in there is tracked and traced through the state. If you go to, everything should have been lab tested. Theoretically, everything in there should be accounted for, good to go. In an illegal dispensary, they're not lab testing, they're not lab testing anything. And that they pass that savings on to you because it's not cheap to lab test things. It's quite expensive. And so they're not doing that at illegal dispensaries, and you are, that's another bit of savings, but, you might want to argue you do want that kind of peace of mind that a legal shop gives you, but you have to be willing to pay more. Economics. It's the greatest non-existent academic field in the world. It's the best non-existent academic field. Okay, where am I? I'm skipping forward. If somebody had something I need to address, make a new comment, please. Because I'm going to go down to Vegas Wedman says wheats need a Kurova black bar. I would love a Kurova black bar. However, they do still exist. They are just 100 milligram edibles. They're just brownies chopped up in 10 little pieces in a bag from Kurova. It's just called a black bar, but it's in name only. Pour one out. Need to go to Arizona. Okay, Justin, I don't know if I've said hello yet. Hello, if not, said legalize and have regulated dispensaries and we won't have this problem. I totally agree. It will certainly help to ameliorate these issues. Oh man, I'm going to be really proud of myself if I actually got that word out correctly. Maybe I didn't. Probably not. Okay. Dale says, yes, we can learn from the U.S. on this issue. Dale, I would advise caution to try to learn from to learn anything from the U.S. other than from our mistakes. Oh, which I guess in this case is a mistake, and you should learn from it. But any sort of conventional wisdom that comes from us, really think about it for a moment. Paul says the new Corovas are pretty weak. The old ones were something else. I totally agree, Paul. Those were the wonder days, 2 years ago. The summer of 2017, the year of 2016. I mean, it was amazing. You could get a 250 milligram Corova cookie for like $12 at places. And a 250 milligram Corova cookie was an experience, even at the height of Wheats' prowess, we'll say. And I didn't mean to use Wheats like in the third person. I just meant Wheats is, of course, an institution, as I like to say, meaninglessly. So that's what I meant. The institution at one time was known for its extreme tolerance. Even back then, at the height of my tolerance, a 250 milligram cookie from Corova was a still very, very, very fun experience. So yeah, I miss them. But assumedly they still exist in that capacity in Arizona and maybe other states. If any of my Okie boys or no, I know Washington, Oregon have legal caps, or my Nevada homies, or I don't know if Nevada has caps, or if my Massachusetts chicas want to let me know. But as far as I know, Arizona still, it's still the Wild West for edibles out there, and I need to make the trip. Need to make that trip. Tom A says government is either going to get the money by arresting people or in taxes on weed. They always get their money. Tom A, I've heard I really like this little theory, and I'm sure if you really investigate it quite thoroughly, you'll find some cracks in it. But basically, every time a state takes in a new revenue source, they never then revert that. Meaning, like, every time a state in the United States gains the lottery, for example, because not every state has a legal lottery. I mean, for example, my home state of Tennessee did not have a lottery until I was 18, and I don't remember where I was going with that. Oh, yes, but once they were so adamantly against the lottery in Tennessee, those fucking Bible thumpers, and, people were predicting, the end times, once the lottery was instituted. And, half the government was literally ready to, sacrifice their firstborns to prevent it from being happen. But then 2 months after the lottery was instituted, everybody in Tennessee was like, the lottery's fucking great. It paid for my kids' college, or a small portion of it. Hey, what's up, buddy? You're okay. You're okay. Yeah, you're fine. Chill. It's okay. Border Collies, they're weird. Great Danes are weirder. There's just one who's been literally sleeping right here the entire time. Just laying down, not moved. I mean, you'd think she was dead Fucking statue dogs. Oh, I think she did expel some ass cloud at one point. But other than that, no. Sesame Sun says, so glad to see you doing live streams. I've enjoyed doing them quite a bit. Thank you for tuning in. I appreciate it. It's been fun. I need to get recalibrated. Every live stream I've done, I've gone too far in the edible direction and gotten sloppy. But I'll get back the right ratio. It used to be I'd go the other way. I just wouldn't get high enough. But I've overcompensated, we'll say. So Vegas Wedman says they used to be 1,000 milligrams. Oh, yes, Vegas. They went up to 1,000 in California. They had 250, 500, and 1,000 milligram edibles. And 150 milligrams, and 150. It was 150, 250, 500, 1,000. In Arizona, I think they have all of those plus 2,000, plus the double black bar, which, the Holy Grail. Okay, Past the Bleat says, there are so many unregistered illegal dispensaries selling black market carts in my area. They keep closing down and reopening in different places. Past the Bleat, that is true in a couple of areas in California. Specifically, like, an area very close to where I live. I live in Long Beach. There's a little tiny community right across, basically, the LA River from Long Beach, a little tiny community called Wilmington that's part of the city of Los Angeles, but it has its like own regulations or whatever, and they're a mega hotspot for black market dispensaries. And it's this weird thing between certain communities having laxer laws than others, and police being understandably cautious about cracking down too hard and you know, imprisoning people who don't necessarily deserve it. It's just currently there's the market incentive to make to open an illegal shop is so great, and the downsides are limited enough that people are going to do it. I do not advocate for stricter, like, if you open a black market dispensary, you should go to prison. But there should be some mechanism to allow, the places that are legal, that have gone through the, I'm sure, arduous channels to get certified, to give them a better chance, because in a lot of areas they get their asses fucking kicked by the illegal places, because most people, a lot of people don't actually even know. I mean, many people do, but there are certainly a ton of people that are not aware that they're going to an illegal shop. Weed Maps should be a little guilty in all of this. My nemesis, I think the assholes at Weed Maps should feel a little guilty about all this, because they do not require you to have like a license to, market yourself on their site. If they had some scruples, if they had some, some kind of ethics themselves, they wouldn't do that. But I'm sure most of their money does come from illegal ones, because there's so many of them, and, maybe they even charge more if you don't have a license. I don't know. There's no end to the shady shit that, that's just speculation, that last sentence, in case they want to sue me. But, yeah, I would not put past any number of shady tactics next to Weed Maps. Yeah, they do not care but they could very well help with this problem to some degree by delisting anywhere that does not have paperwork. And I don't care. I don't need to hear. I'm sure they have some excuse for why, you know, it would be so hard for them to need to require that, or why it's such an infringement to have that. It's just a bullshit argument. It doesn't need to be that way. They're only doing it because they cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching. Fuck weed maps. Fuck weed maps in so many ways. I wish there was a better alternative. I really do. I feel like an open source, like, you know, somebody makes a kind of, I don't know, you know, like a glorified, great sort of subreddit for something. I don't know, because Weed Maps is such a piece of shit alternative. Yeah, they do active harm to the industry, to consumers. They definitely do harm to consumers. I've been harping on Weed Maps, but they really do suck. They really are awful, and they really are pieces of shit. But I don't mean to badmouth them, even though they are garbage. But I'm not trying to speak ill of those pieces of garbage. Okay, where are we? I'm sorry, I really went off on a tangent. I get on tangents more, the more higher I get her. Okay. Would you consider reviewing rosin or water hash? Oh, Justin, will you let me know what water hash is? I'd Google it, but I am no, can't do that right now. Wish I had the capability to Google, but it seems like a lot. But I don't know what water hash is. Rosin, I think rosin's really cool stuff. I just don't know how to review it. I don't know how to review anything that doesn't have some kind of, at least somewhat objective thing to it that that can be somewhat objectively looked at. Sorry for anybody who's heard this before, because I do this a lot. I'm just not good with strains. I'm not good with, telling people what the difference between this and that is. It's so subtle to me. That's just not my thing. It's just, I'm not the guy for it. I don't have the florid language. I don't have the imagination to feel the way that people say that certain strains make them feel, let alone could I describe that. It's largely just high or not high. So that's my wariness about reviewing things like that. Also, strains aren't really a thing. They're not really, there's no real thing as strawberry diesel. It doesn't really exist. That's another rant. I'll do that another time. Vegas says he is familiar with Wilmington, and he agrees that it's also been crazy. Because it is. It's a wild, fucking crazy place. With some places that you feel less than thrilled about purchasing from. I frequented there for a little while because I was, for a while, specifically trying to review and talk about black market things. And when I was doing that, I was going to them somewhat and trying products and things so that I could talk about them. But yeah, it's a weird fucking place, Wellington. Real Big Fish. Real Big Fish, I think you played, um, like at the closing sort of party that my university put on one year, either when I was there or when the like couple of years after when my wife was still there. Uh, I don't remember, but Real Big Fish played. Um, I didn't see them though, but I like your name. I'm not sure what your logo is. The pictures are so small, it's hard to see those icons very well. Uh, but welcome, Real Big Fish. Glad you could join us. He also says Wilmington has a lot of shops with untested, everything dry herb in glass jars only. Because, of course, because they can sell it, they can buy it cheaper and sell it cheaper and get more people to buy it. Why pay the extra to get it lab tested when you can just sell it straight from the farm, buy it straight from the farmer? Okay. Philip Baca says, I've yet to get high from an edible, and Philip, I am so sorry that that is true for you. For me, they are still the most consistent way to get, what I like to call movie high. I love going to the movies, which I got that AMC Stubbs A-list, dudes, and that shit is just the best. It is so fucking great, especially if you live in somewhere where movies are expensive, because there's no like regional price difference. It's like $24, whether you live in fucking Hollywood or, Cletusville, Ohio. It's the same price, and you get all 3 movies a week. Doesn't matter if they're the IMAX or the 3 Dizzles or any of that shit. It's so great. Fucking love it. But I love to just take an edible, go see a movie, and where I'm at, we have the recliner chairs at the movies, and it's like my favorite thing. And I get to do it so often. It's a pretty wonderful little existence here. Like, it just, man, the movies are the best. I just like going to the movies. I just love the whole experience. Always have. I eat with Stubbs, the unlimited thing. I don't even mind. I'll go see bad, like garbage things just because I just still enjoy it. I'm one of those, I guess, masochists, because I know most people hate going to the theater. I love it. I always have. And with edibles, it's just, if you've never done it, you got to give it a try. Okay, sorry for that rant as well. So it looks like a lot of people are agreeing that Weed Maps is a giant cesspool of dookie. Not to disparage their name, I'm sure there are some fine people there that clean the toilets or water the plants or, take care of the aquarium or are the like company masseuse or the dog walker, or if they have a daycare, the daycare assistant. No person though who has a real sense of ethics, though, that has any real sort of say in operations, with the actual company themselves, should know better. And I'm sure you could get a job somewhere else. If you're Weed Maps is just a tech company. I'm sure you can get a job somewhere just fine. You don't need to work at Weed Maps. Yeah, not to disparage any of those fine folks. Again, it's a great place that I love, that I don't mean to say anything bad about. Okay. Don't forget to throw Brother Wheats a like Tom A, thank you. I appreciate that. I don't actually know what likes do. I don't know if they're, are they just, like, are they just positive reinforcement for me? Like, is it just is it like a validation measure, or does it like help in the algorithm? Does it like, is it just for like me to feel good, or for, I guess, people to know? Well, I guess it's for if somebody sees the video in their feed, and if it doesn't have a lot of likes, they won't click on it. Are likes like do people look at likes before they click on videos? I don't know. And I don't know if YouTube weights likes more in what videos they suggest to others, because it seems to me that's the way that YouTube, the main squeeze is like how you get your videos out there is you please whatever the sort of, no, that's not true. The main way you get your videos out there is by being good. And that's why I've done a doodly dozen million of these, and and where I'm at, because I'm not the best at this, but I do enjoy doing it. And where was I going with that? Videos, likes, don't forget to throw me a like. That makes me feel good about myself, and makes other people maybe watch this more often, but also makes me feel good about myself. Although, I don't know if this is, I don't mean this to be one of those, like, you know, like, kind of bloviating, you know, like, look how cool I am kind of things, but or like how indifferent I kind of am things, but I never pay attention. I don't mean to, please throw me all them likes, I love it, but it just, I don't know how often I look at how many likes a video gets. I don't know. It shows you sometimes, but I'm never really consciously aware of it. That's a lot of talking about likes. The weirdest thing in the modern world, the like. Wow. What a weird thing we invented. And I mean, Jesus. Everybody knows what that means, but also nobody quite understands what, what does when you like something, what does that actually mean? Yeah. But that's a problem for the social sciences, and not a person who does marijuana. Okay, ice water hash again. I don't know what that is. It's probably good. I haven't had hash in forever. I accidentally bought hash one time, and I wasn't really sure if I was doing it right. But I'd try it again. I don't remember it. Okay. Real Big Fish had the classic Afghani bubble hash. That's like the hash, right? The Afghani. I think I heard that name before I ever used weed, like Afghani hash, or this, Afghanistan is where modern indica comes from, I think, too. Not that that's a real thing. Okay, he is so animated, I'm dying laughing. I love him. Thank you. My first big laugh of the day, and I don't mean laughing at, I mean laughing with. Well, thanks, man. I'm laughing with myself, too. That seems actually kind of sinister, and I take that back, because that's what's the real term for split personality? There's like a real term for it, even though it's super rare, even though it's like one of those things the media, there's all kinds of movies and books and shit about people with split personalities, even though it's so incredibly rare. It's just such a fun narrative device. It's like people having amnesia in Japanese video games. It's just like, it's a great way to start a compelling story. There's like a central mystery involved, or with that one, or this one, it's like, you're never quite sure what the stakes are, or if you're in danger or not. But I don't know why I was talking about split personalities. Because I'm not laughing with me. I was just laughing. I'm not sure I was ever laughing. Split personalities. Whatever the scientific, psychological name is, please let me know. I'd Google it, but, it's hard. It's so hard. Okay. Oh my god, I have gotten so far behind on chat. Shit. Thank you, Tom A, for the kind words. Thank you, everyone, for the kind words. I keep reading those out loud, and you're never going to believe me. I read them because it's so nice, and I really appreciate every time somebody says it. It's because it really is such a nice thing, but it also makes me feel like an asshole when I read them, because it's like, I don't need to pat myself on the back. But thank you for anybody that's, I really appreciate it. Okay. All right, done. Past the Bleat says, illegal dispensaries only have a limited amount of strains, and they falsely label their weed to make it seem like they have a huge variety of strains. Of course they do. They do all that shit and more. I mean, some degree of that shit happens at legal dispensaries, to a lesser degree, and with a more sort of legal patina over it. But you can bet your ass all of that is happening there. Okay. Tom A says, he agrees with me. Edible highs are on another level. Much better for pain, too. I'm glad that's true. I do get a lot of people asking me questions about what's the best edible for pain. I don't have chronic pain, thankfully. Very lucky. I'm sorry to everybody who does, because I know it sucks. I'm glad weed exists as a way to help with that. But my answer is always just go with the most cost-effective, highest dose edible you can get. That's going to be the best thing for pain management, is just the higher the dose. Every other thing is a lot of marketing. Okay. And the difference... Sesame says, I have not had any edibles yet. I can't wait to try them. I just hope they taste good. Sesame, there are definitely some not terrible, not bad, even better than okay tasting edibles. Like, there is no product that you'll like. There's no edible that you'll want over a good version of a non-edible version of it. I mean, I've had some edibles from some companies that are better than some not great versions. Like, I've had some edible brownies that are better than, like, a Little Debbie brownie. But I've never had, like, an edible brownie that's as good as, like, the best fucking, whatever, however people make brownies. You have chocolate and egg and a spoon and a bowl. That's maybe it. I don't know. Who the fuck knows? Brownies are magic. But I've never had a brownie as good as the best brownie I've had. But there are decent tasting edibles out there. Check the old archives, and you'll find some. Plus gummies. You can find them everywhere. They're not bad and pretty cheap. Okay. Ben S. said, what did I think of It Chapter 2? I talked about this a little bit yesterday. I'll go over it sort of speed round because I'm so far behind. I didn't hate it. I think Andy Muschietti has some cool ideas. He knows how to direct a fucking tense scene. There's some scenes in it too that are, I mean, very, 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 very stressful. Very, scary. That's a weird word for me. It's, yeah, but conventionally, scary. I think there really are. There's some cool visual design stuff, and I think he has some promising stuff ahead of him. I liked Mama. I think that was his first movie before he got signed for it. But boy, the book is. I have this crazy, it's not such a. I know it's not a masterpiece. It's a Stephen King novel. But I read it when I was like 11 years old, or however old you are in like 5th grade or whatever, and basically the same age they are. And oh man, it just had such an impact on me. The story is so indelible, and in my brain, it just sits there. And the choices that he made, which I'm normally totally fine with anybody, being very liberal with a license. That's fine with me, you don't have to be slavish, in my opinion, to source material. I'll fully admit that some of my qualms with the movie are just, though, in this instance, because I know how much better it could have been if it were structured differently. So it had some cool moments. But I think it was also a bit of a mess, and it was too much for too long. It was almost never not like at 11 in terms of like trying to get the audience's blood pumping, which is weird, actually. Okay. Justin says, sorry, that went longer than I thought about my it summary. Justin needs about 200 to feel any from an edible, and that's a low dose. I'm sorry, man, that sucks. 100 milligrams, while not anywhere near the past days of yore, can still make for a great evening. Okay. Sesame Sun says, dang, I was going to ask about weed maps again, LOL. Sesame Sun, you please ask another question about weed maps. I will try not to be an asshole this time. Tom, I thank you, man. Thank you. Oh, that reminds me, Tom, that's back like 50 rants ago when I was talking about likes and all that weird stuff. Like 3 weeks ago, YouTube pulled my partnership. They just unceremoniously. I was like a YouTube partner, meaning I could monetize my stuff. Like I could put ads on it. I never did, except for when I first got monetized. I monetized 2 of like 100 whatever 200 something videos at the time, just to see what it was like, and then after like a month turn it off. But I've never otherwise monetized. But like 3 weeks ago, randomly they just sent me an email and said, nope, you can't get any more money, you can't monetize, we've determined that you post harmful or not YouTube. It wasn't that harshly phrased. They're basically just saying like, your shit is not great and fuck you. So yeah, I am freed from those shackles now. I am no longer a YouTube partner, but I don't know why. Well, thank you, Tom. I appreciate all that. Grovel with the excellent joke that 1 like equals 5 Schrute bucks. I always thought of 1 like as worth as like 10 Stanley nickels, but I guess I was wrong. Real Big Fish says, I just scored some Plus branded Uplift Sativa gummies. About to take test run on these. Take it easy. Remember to ignite, to delight. Enjoy those gummies, my man. I hope they do the trick for you. They're great. Boy, I very high. So good. Just thinking about all the fun stuff to do after this. Man, I was thinking about going to see that movie Hustlers, which I had not even heard of until yesterday, but now has like a 79 on Metacritic. Seems pretty cool. About ladies robbing horny rich dudes. I'm in. Literally never heard of the movie, but the reviews are extraordinary. Might go see that this evening. Maybe. Okay. Are those glasses supposed to help with eyes for viewing computer screens? Yes, they are. I'm sorry. I've explained this before. Don't mind explaining it again. Just apologizing to those who've already, if anybody's already heard it. I totally am. Oh, wait. Somebody sent me a message. Oh. More puppies. Great. That was a sincere great. Sincerely sincere. Glasses. Yeah. I like that blue light blocking stuff. I'm totally willing to buy that it's just a placebo, that it doesn't do anything for you. It's all in my brain. But, the placebo effect's a powerful effect. And I feel like I have less eye strain. I feel like I fall asleep easier at night. I think. But again, could just all be marketing fucking my, dumb lizard brain, which happens to all of us. Fucking edible lizard brain, I was somewhere with that. People were talking about, agreeing about movies and edibles. Yes, you all understand. It is nirvana on earth. It's the greatest thing. And it's, even if the movie, it's, edibles just make even not so great movie experiences a little bit more tolerable. Okay. Tom, do not apologize for bringing those up. That's really great. Oh my God, I am so far behind. I am sorry. Philip says, try waxing, not the Brazilian kind. Hello and goodbye, Zila Lahashram. I'm sorry if I said that incorrectly. I apologize. Please let me know if I did. I'd be happy to pronounce it correctly. I'd like to, if I did. If you'd like me to. Philip. But also try the Brazilian kind, because we're millennials, and that's a stereotype about us. We killed crabs along with taxis. Fuck us, millennials. Us pubic lice killing, cell phone loving, Tinder using, kids these days. I don't know. I literally do not remember why I was doing that. Oh my God, past the bleat, coming in with dissociative identity disorder. Yes. Thank you. Yes, I also knew multiple personality disorder, but that is like the outdated one. It is dissociative identity disorder. I feel like I was talking about that so long ago that it's frightening. Not frightening because, like, oh man, that was so long, but just like, oh man, I have so much stuff to catch up to, because I see this scroll bar and it's not at the bottom. Did you read that Oregon pulled some products from legal stores? I heard they were considering it. I hadn't known if they had gone through with it. Cool if they did. I hope they'll do some more testing, and then, once a better answer is, or a more clear picture of what's happening is present, they'll reassess whatever products they took away and determine again if they should remain off the market. Let's always be good Bayesians. Boy, update your priors. That's what I always say. Okay. Sesame Sun says, I'm in dead as fuck and I need a hit of whatever you have, Wheats. Believe me, Sesame Sun, you do not need a hit of what I have. What I had was, we talked a lot about it yesterday and the day before and maybe sometime last week, because I had a bunch of firecrackers that were revolting because the weed to Nutella ratio was, I was trying to think of like a cool analogy, but bubkiss, yeah, they're gross. You don't want it. You really did not want to eat what I was having because green at the gills. Well, bye. The border collie's leaving again. I don't know why he does it. Oh, there's his tail. I can see it in the back of the camera. The Dane. Oh shit! The Dane moved, like a fucking hamburger on a grill. She just is like rolled from the position she was in. I have no idea if she had to have stood up some point. Now she's just staring. She's just staring. Weird dog. Okay, where are we at? Where am I at? Past the Bleat says, take your time, you're doing great. Oh, there's Zila. Why do you read old chats? Most people don't. I don't know, Zila. I'm a weirdo. I'm an iconoclast at chat reading. I march to the beat of my own drum. Are those nouns and verbs in the right order? Hard to know. Largely because I didn't know that was protocol. Embarrassing confession, and I understand if people say hypocrite and stop watching right now, but I don't watch any live streams of any kind virtually ever. I can't say with 100. There were a couple of times where I had friends streaming things that I had a blast joining in, but almost never do I actually watch anything streaming. So I don't really know what the etiquette in streaming is, especially when it comes to audience, chat, participation. Like, what's the expected norms? So, some would say that gives me a leg up because it allows me to break conventions that I didn't even know existed. But it also can lead to embarrassing pratfalls and humiliating moments like this where I realize that I'm supposed to just go to the bottom of the chat always. Whoopsie. Okay. Tom A says, glad you're growing. I started 4 years ago, failed my first time. Don't give up. Worth it. Thanks, man. Oh, yes, you're talking about David and his, oh, yes, David said he started growing. I missed that. Very cool, man. I wish I had the space for it. I'm a Southern Californian. I have a condominium. I could probably do it, if I really wanted to squeeze it in somewhere. But I'm lazy, and it requires some level of diligence, especially if you don't want to pay a fortune. And I'm not the most thorough person in the world. I'm like an 4/5 of the way there, person. You know, like I like to, I like to just, yeah, like I'm a glorified half-asser. Uh, Never whole-assed anything. Um, Frequently quarter-ass, to be honest, but often half-ass too. Um, Never whole-ass. Okay, fuck, where am I? John Fiasco, welcome, John Fiasco. You got a couple of messages here in a row. I love edibles, but every time I get used to something, they are gone. I used to love Korova, then they got regulated. Anything made right will hit. Clear is the best as of now. Yes, it sucks. Our edible situation now, it is not as good as it once was. We all have to make do. There are certainly better brands than others, but there's not the magic bullet. My hope is that as California reassesses a lot of its weed relationship to weed, which it will because it has to, it's just not bringing in the money as it was expected to. There are these black market problems, there are these health problems. I'm hoping, and I live in a state where it is, people making smart decisions is not unheard of. I'm hoping that they might reassess and see that that was restricting and unnecessary and either abolish the cap or, quintuple it or whatever. But, I'm not going to get my hopes up, but, maybe. Okay. Gus says, has anyone taken into consideration maybe the lung problems are from metals in the carts? I think absolutely people are looking at that. A lot of the shitty carts that you can buy in bulk on, fucking eBay even, they've, some of the very few studies that have been done on these things, and again, there's so few studies done. It's you need to understand that any conclusion that you've seen about anything about weed, it's just not true. Some are very likely to be true. Again, almost, that weed is a safe drug is almost certainly true. There's enough data to point, pick that out. But anything that's come about recent weed products or recent weed developments, there just hasn't been enough time to see, like longitudinally what will happen. And there is just not enough people doing research to know. And for any real, to take any conclusion super seriously, there needs to be an abundance of people doing research on it before one can say definitively anything. That's just the way science works. Unfortunately, it's not the way we report on science. We often report like anytime some lab has some result that, has some interesting, or some lab runs an experiment that has some cool or fascinating result, it's reported as if that is true or will happen every time or is this infallible concept. No. It requires a body of work to make any definitive conclusions about anything. And just, yeah, it's so true with weed. It's so true with weed. It took a long time for people to realize tobacco was as harmful as it is because it just took time for the data to accumulate and the people to make the necessary observations, and then people to crunch those numbers. Like tobacco had been killing people for a while before people knew it was a serious problem. I'm sorry to. I like math. What? No, I hate math. I like probability, I think. Stochastic studies, man. If I could go back in time. I'd study randomness. That'd be the best. Stochastic studies, man. You just study fucking the most important thing that we all take for granted, randomness and the illusion of control. It's great though. Yeah. Randomness. Stochastic studies. The science of coincidence. Sort of, but not really. But it's a cool way to describe it. Love it. Where am I? I am so far behind. Are you stop smoking cartridges? Hello, Kyle. Personally, great question. I didn't. I just stick to the expensive, legit carts. Kyle, again, I do not model your decision based on mine. Make up your own mind, which is always what I advise anybody all the time, 100% of the time. I have an exact sort of mindset as you. The people that, post their lab results online, even more so than the printout on the box, I don't think there is yet enough data to panic. The number of people affected is still so small that the chance that you will get it is seemingly so minuscule. It's, you might as well get struck. You're more likely to get struck by lightning. It's not ultimately going to be the case, I know, because more and more cases are just going to pop up. A lot of false positive cases are going to pop up too. I assume some of the things that are already reported as actual cases of this mysterious pulmonary illnesses are false positives. I'd be guarantee you some number of them are already false positives. That's just the way diagnosis works, because it is not an exact science. And once people hear about something, it's in their brain. Not, again, suggesting it's fake or conspiracy mongering in any way. I'm not. I do believe that there is something to it. I just don't know what. I gotta stop talking about it. I sound like a broken record, guys. I am really sorry. Tom says, YouTube is such bullshit sometimes. Bye, Squiddy. He's leaving again. I hope I didn't just beckon him back. I wish the third dog was here, but she's doing her own thing. She's super chill. Oh, he's back. Cool. Welcome back. Right to my feet again, or just gonna stare at me? I guess it's been a while since you said hi. Everybody likes dogs, I assume. I mean, that's a weird. Come on, come here, come on, say hi. Say hi to the folks. Yeah, I've heard that liking dogs is the new liking girls liking Starbucks. It's the new way to ridicule somebody's things that they enjoy. It's the basic B of men. It's like on your fucking Bumble profile. Is Bumble still? I hope people still use Bumble. That was the one after Tinder, I think. The Bumble. What was I talking about, Bumble? Something. Bumble. Dating profiles. Fuck. I do not remember. I cannot stop going on tangents, guys. I really, really just want to read straight comments and give you boom, boom answers, because that's what you deserve. You deserve succinct. But I am incapable of that right now. I am indulgent in the words, but not many of them. I was having trouble coming up with one there. All right, where are we? Moving on. Okay. Again, more people agreeing about movies and edibles, and I feel like I was talking about that 3 or 4 hours ago, and that is really bad. People talking about Hustler saying it was great. Thank you, Jack Ortner. No, I appreciate you putting that input. I'm really excited now. I've heard such good things, and I love a surprise, man. There's nothing better than it's just like an out of nowhere great little movie that just pops up out of nowhere. I think it's because it's on one of my cartridge reviews. Fuck, this is a quick tangent. I think it's on an upcoming cartridge review, so you probably won't ever hear me talk about it. Total unexpected surprise earlier this summer. Only heard about it like a week before it came out. My favorite movie of the year, The Art of Self-Defense with Jesse Eisenberg and Imogen Poots, directed by some guy who's most famous for being formerly married to Mary Elizabeth Winstead. Who knew? Whenever it hits VOD, it's gotta be soon. I mean, it was a tiny little theatrical release. It is a great movie. I actually saw it twice. Love it. Art of Self-Defense. Sorry for that tangent. Just wanted to let you know in case I never get another chance or I forget, because it was a cherry on top. Art of Self-Defense. My favorite movie of the year. Okay. Cool. And again, thank you, Jack. Jack also... Oh, welcome, 777. Also, Stubbo, if you're out there, Stubbo, I owe you a response to, my God, I have let the emails back up. If you have sent me an email or a tweet or some smoke message, whatever, I have been a real poopy diaper about responding. I have no excuse other than I am a garbage person. I would like to respond soon. I hope to respond very soon. It would be the good thing to do. But I do apologize if any of you out there is somebody I'm neglecting to respond to. It's, again, I have no excuse. Okay, welcome, 777. And Jack with the great idea of start a Long Beach High movie club. I love it. Jack Ortner, I have two mini projectors. These fancy, nice Pico projectors, battery-powered projectors that you can just hook up, any sort of device to spit out images. You can AirPlay shit from your iPhone, or you can plug in a memory card if you have actual files of things like movies and, music and pictures, which I guess I do. I'm being weird because I shoot all kinds of stuff just on a webcam, this very webcam right here. I've got a lot better stuff. It's just I'm lazy and I don't like to set it all up because it takes some effort. Yes, good. Oh, where was I going with that? Jack Ortner, start a Long Beach High movie club. Awesome idea. Maybe I need to start this Discord server very soon so that maybe I can start talking about these kind of things, and I could do some movies on the beach. My wife and I primarily use it to play Smash Brothers at random spots in Long Beach occasionally. We'll take out a big projector screen, a little projector. I've got a huge battery that has like AC plugins. And then I take a Switch and we play Smash and occasionally like Mario Kart and shit. But, it's also great for watching movies with. Cool. I should start a Discord. Before I log off for the night, somebody said, hey, asshole, start a Discord. And I'll say, yeah. Okay. Tom A. says he's laughing all food. Wheat's good. Cool. Alex. Welcome, Alex. I am so sorry if you've been hanging out for a while and I've neglected to say hello. I hope you don't interpret that as me appreciating you being here any less. It's just I am incapable of reading your moderately paced messages. Okay. Boom. Review some window pane LSD 180 micrograms. Dominique, you've got to get me the hookup. You got to get me the hookup. And I will be your LSD Sherpa on any journey if one can comply, or if one can somehow apply a consistent review criteria. Not that that's what I have, but that's what I fake tell people I do. But I don't really tell people I do that. Yeah. But yes, I'd love to. I don't know anybody I don't know where to get LSD. My experiences with LSD have been very nice. They're few, but the ones I've had are quite nice. I love the mind expandingness, man. Yeah, it's not so much the trippy visuals or the, even sort of like the cosmic intuition, any of that. No, it's just like, I'll just start thinking about it like a book I was reading recently, or like, yeah, I mean, of course it is just, random neurons firing in your brain, making dumb connections that don't really exist, but that's tingles that's the right itch from the brain, and I really like it. It's great. It's never been super crazy effective on me. I would even be willing to do a Herculean dose at one point, just to see. I think when they do it, a lot of the... I'm going to be a hypocrite here because I'm going to talk about some studies where there's just so few, and, I'm going to make some kind of conclusion, so you feel free to ignore it. But I think a lot of the studies that have been done about things like, people, they say one of the top 5 most important experiences of their life was this clinically given LSD experience, or the LSD kind of experiences where they tried to use it to try to get people to stop smoking, or all the mental health breakthroughs that LSD and other hallucinogenics seem to be, possibly to be able to help with. All of those studies were done at very high doses, I think. I think the point was to get people, basically to trip. And I've never been anywhere near there. Yeah, I don't want to... It's such a smug, dumb thing to say. And it's almost certainly not true. But I feel like I have... I'm just... The psychedelic parts of things are just... I just don't get affected by them as much as some folks, as much as I would love to. I don't know. Any of the, like, reality-breaking things don't really seem to happen. Now, like, temporal things or, like, space things, like things about time compression, those kind of things happen. But, like, I've never had any kind of real, true psychedelic experience, as much as I would like to. But yeah, I've done a lot of, I think I've done a lot of LSD at one point and had a great time. Oh my God, I've been talking so much about LSD. Please do not come for me. Who arrests you for that? The DEA? whoever arrests people for talking about stuff on the internet that they shouldn't talk about. Oh, sorry, buddy. Oh, damn it. That's the worst part about this dog. Oh, now he won't even come up about him just staying at my feet. Is he's not a bright dog. He's a border collie. You'd think that would make him smart, but he doesn't have that ability. He's learned directed tricks quite well, but in terms of organically learning things that you think he would pick up on, like, oh, don't get my tail fur run over by the chair by not sleeping directly under it, because any slight motion is going to pinch my tail hair. That, even though it's happened a shameful number of times on my part, because I'm sure it doesn't feel good, he still goes right back under that chair. Okay. Oh boy. It might be that time for me. I'm just feeling my throat. I'm getting there in terms of duration. But my God, how does Rush Limbaugh do it? How does big streamer number, how does Ninja do it? How do you talk that much? Oof, without your voice dying. I don't know. But where am I at? Yes. Okay. Guys, I'm going to take a break. It's been delightful. I am sorry that I am putting the cart stuff on hold. Again, I really... Oh, 777. Gotcha. Not 777. Cool. Sorry. Shouldn't have interrupted myself. Yes. Again, it sucks. I understand. It's not something I would like to do. I have a bunch of it ready to go. It's where 98% of people who watch me, they watch me because of 98% of the views that I get, come from cartridge reviews. But let's not endorse something until we're 99.67% sure that it's cool. Which I was before, but now I'm below that threshold. But it could change. Sorry to disappoint. Again, I'm a little crushed. I'm crushed about the whole thing. I think the whole thing sucks. The whole thing sucks. Sucks for you. Sucks for me. Sucks for all of us. Really, 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 truly sucks for the people who are affected. That is terrible. I am super sorry to anybody who went through that. It seems so unfair to be, it's awful for them. Boy, I promised I was going to leave. That's what I'm going to do. Goodbye, everybody. Thanks for hanging out. Avita Zane. Take care. Goodbye.